That was my quantum improvisation system called Lineage. And technically it is listening to me in real time, and I'm able to play with it and musically communicate with it. And it will respond to me sometimes, and sometimes it will do its own thing. Yeah, so usually when we do NpHz performances, I'm usually playing with my colleague, Dr. Omar Costa Hamido. And yeah, so it's usually he's playing saxophone and I'm playing flute, and then our recent album, we're usually playing the songs from there. It starts out with us playing acoustically, and then that would pretty much the second song on the track. But I won't be playing the third song on the track because usually Lineage plays with his quantum synthesizer, but he's not here today, and I don't have his quantum synthesizer. But I will take a little break. If anybody has any questions, I'm available to answer them.
How long have you been playing?
Probably about 13, 14 years, I think.
It's really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So is it, you say it's listening to you, is it translating it to MIDI and then doing MIDI, or is it pitch shifting, like sampling and pitch shifting? Or?
So it's actually doing some using information retrieval functions on it. So it's taking different musical features out of it. So it might take the signal energy from my playing, or it might take pitch estimation and kind of use that as a reference for how far it should go away and how far it can stay within the realm of what I'm doing. And then I have, I guess, a couple other musical features for like brightness of the tone I'm playing and things like that. But yeah, and I'm kind of looking into different ways of sending different information. Yeah.
Are you presetting like pitch parameters, key parameters at all, or you just keep it completely open?
It's completely open at the moment. Kind of, especially in jazz improvisation, it's kind of hard to kind of keep it open, but if you kind of put keys on it, it's going to be rigid. Yeah.
Two questions, but they're related. Is it trying to track your tempo at all? And the other question is, what's the lag time?
Yeah, so
it
is tracking my tempo every so often, but that's not part of the quantum algorithm. That's more of a classical kind of algorithm. I do want to try to incorporate that into the circuit, but the circuit is actually kind of big enough as it is, and I don't think I can fit it in at the moment. But yeah, the current state of quantum computers, I kind of hit the max of what they'll allow for the general public to do. But yeah.
Is it a max for live series?
So I didn't pay for Max for Live, but I am using just the full Max software, and then I'm feeding it into Ableton kind of manually. But yeah. Cool. I think I'll continue. Let's see, I guess since this is jazz, I'll kind of figure out from here. There's some stuff at the end I do want to get into with the more of the system, but I'll kind of go back and forth and play along with some effects and some some of Lineage. So yeah. for you guys, unless you guys want to hear anything specific. But I was working on another application today as I was waiting for this performance, but still not quite working yet. So yeah. So does anybody have any more questions? Yeah.
During the transition of that last song, there was a decay of four four different layers. Does that represents like the deep wave, or is just my imagination for the energy compression?
So half of this performance is just straight electronics, and then the other half is being controlled by the actual system. But this is actually using a simulator, so it's not using a specific computer at the moment, because getting there and back is, yeah. But the system, the parameters of that system was built on some example data to the system using some of IBM's quantum computers. So yeah. So ideally, it could just be a plug and chug if they, have the capability of just didn't use it, but no. Yeah.
Any of the sounds generated, were they pitch tracked to what you were playing, or was it just sort of emulating what you were playing, or was it quantized after the fact to some scale, whatever that you're playing in?
So it's using, this is actually my dissertation research, but it has a lot of different components in it. But in terms of pitch, let's say I have, so the system will do like an estimation, right? And we'll give like, let's say it hears 50% chances of B, 50% chances of A, or maybe like another, note in there with another percent chance, whatever.
So you're sort of using Markov chains or something like that?
No, not Markov chains, but like I'm using, it takes it in and gives it a wave function.
Okay.
Yeah, and it says, okay, it's in all these notes I'm perceiving at the same time. But the second that it measures it to go to execute the actual node, it collapses to one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it has like some kind of way of saying like, okay, this is the target pitch I'm going for. And then it kind of looks up the energy of the qubit and says, how far do I have to get there to get to the pitch, or am I going in another direction? So, yeah.
Your last track had drums in it. Were those quantum drums?
Yeah, so the system is actually playing the drum set, so yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how does it go between generating just sound and generating a drum timbre? Is it intentional?
So it's actually just playing software instruments. So
Okay.
it's like sending, so it's sending like just
Like a MIDI
messages,
instrument.
just MIDI information to the instruments, but yeah.
So there's many layers of quantum and processing going in with it to bring out because it was a really multi-layered performance.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So I want to ask if eventually Quantum should be able to play music but regular computers can't. Is there anything that?
My philosophy of that is, well, there is a subfield right now. I don't know how much you guys know of it. So there is a group of researchers, not a large set of them, but they are looking into building quantum computer music applications. But right now they're kind of focusing on like what capabilities we have currently are transferable to quantum computers. So we don't know if it will give us an advantage or not, or it might be able to play music better than the classical computer. But my thought is, especially with jazz, since there's so many different elements, and I think there's more alignment using quantum computers than there are with classical machine learning.
Do you find when you're playing jazz with a quantum computer, there's a level of feedback? Because when you play jazz like live, like there's a feedback between you and the other musicians. And do you find that the quantum, and I can guess someone's personality through how they feed back to me, and I get a feel for that. Does a quantum computer have a personality? A jazz personality?
It has an image of my personality.
An image of you?
Yeah, an image of me. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of George Lewis. George Lewis has a computer improvisation system. It has nothing to do with quantum, but it was like he made this back in the day. It was very groundbreaking, everything at the time. But this system is actually inspired off of his system, which is called Voyager. And that's an actual real-time improvisation system that many jazz musicians have played with and have discussed about does it have a personality? Is it actually like what's actually going on here. And George Lewis has always said like it's a reflection of myself. Technically, it's I consider it a composition is a reflection of myself, and it's like have my philosophies of improvisation within it. But yeah.
That's interesting. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Could you just tell us some more general knowledge about like how do you go about using the quantum in instruments?
So, I guess for me, it's a different approach than what most of the field is doing. So, a good example would be my other bandmate, Omar. Omar, he's actually in Portugal, so it was kind of difficult to get him down here this time when we performed in New York. But his quantum synthesizer, he's using different algorithms to generate for different parameters of the synthesizer actually, and to actually use the superposition for different waveforms that the synthesizer can generate. There are other applications for pitch estimation or melody generation and things like that, but it's anything that you can do with classical computing, there's probably a way you can adapt it to quantum computing. So it's mostly like mapping your output from your quantum computer onto a classical machine, I would say. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not, I'm sorry.
So the source of the randomness, you have the quantum computing, but it's being simulated, right?
Yes.
Is it possible? Have you thought about like maybe using like a true source of quantum randomness, like a Geiger counter or something like that?
Not really. I kind of just was like using Qiskit at the moment. Like I really wanted to just run on actual hardware because like the simulator for me is not actually giving it the actual experience of using the actual quantum hardware. It's just a matter of logistics, I guess, on the company side. But yeah, the simulator to me is like not the most ideal.
What kind of level of like randomness is brought in versus like the entropy, right? Of like being able to move beyond what you're at. Because I saw within the performance or heard as it was starting to run away with a lot of energy, you could slowly bring it back. Or as it was getting a little lower, you could slowly bring in more energy. And so, do you have parameters there? And
Yes.
can you widen those and make it more random?
Yeah. So besides tempo, which is not quantum at all in this case. A lot of the parameters I'm using that are being extracted from me, I use those metrics on quantum gates, on the actual quantum gates or the actual rotations. So it's actually taking into consideration inside the actual algorithm, the quantum algorithm, what I'm doing. So it's building a state of what it could possibly do based off what I'm doing. So yeah.
This is more like a more philosophical / artistic question. In the perspective of the science and engineering, do you find a superposition when you identify the artistic component with the engineering component?
I'm sorry, could you ask the question again?
I don't know.
I would say, so I've actually gotten a lot of feedback, especially when I came to when I was trying to finish my dissertation and things, I was having a lot of issues with it getting to sound. So the first iteration of this was not as flexible, I would say. It was very stagnant, and it was kind of mostly based on pitch. It didn't really have any kind of change in tempo or change in energy or anything. But a lot of feedback I got from musicians that knew nothing mostly about. They were tech savvy, but they weren't like didn't know what's happening underneath the hood of anything. They were kind of like, you also have to remember this is also an artistic project. You can get lost in the weeds of building this out. So you can have all these like fancy algorithms, which I was technically trying to do, but it ultimately meant nothing in the end. So it's kind of like a balance between like what are the tools and algorithms that can be used for a specific purpose. If it's not being used for a specific purpose and it's just in there for more efficiency or something, then it kind of gets away from the artistic side. But yeah.
If no more questions, please do thank Scott Oshiro. Thank you very much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the most cultured quantum
I also have an announcement. So I do have a flyer. I wasn't able to print them out, but me and Omar are having a couple listening parties next Saturday and the Saturday after that on Bandcamp. So you'll be able to hear the whole album, and you can decide if you want to buy it. I do have a QR code for anybody who wants to check out the album. You can also just kind of just type in NpHZ.Space, and it'll take you guys to our website. But also on September 2nd, we're having a telematic performance of the album as well. If you guys are interested in it, and you can find that information on our webpage too. So it's NpHZ.Space. And that's why you have to type it in the browser. It should be there.
dot in space?
Space.
Oh, dot space.
Yeah, just space.
We'll put it on the Twitter as well.
Okay, got it.
Everyone, thank you very much. Thank you, Scott.